أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المكرمين لا سيما سيدنا ومولانا بقية الله في أرضه وحجته على عباده المهدي المنتظر صاحب العصر والزمان اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المجيد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين. وقال الله سبحانه وتعالى النبي أولى بالمؤمنين من أنفسهم صدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوا على محمد وعلى محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran reminds us why He sent Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل
وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. I sent my beloved Prophet as a mercy to the whole of mankind. And then in another verse in Surah Ahzab he says وَقَالَ سبحانه وتعالى النبي أولى بالمؤمنين من أنفسهم. He says in the Quran that the Prophet is closer to the believers than themselves. Mu'mineen, every single day before we do anything, what do we recite? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. We recite it in the Quran, we recite it in our namaz. We remind ourselves that Allah is the most merciful, the most beneficent. And it's important for us to understand that sometimes we can take this too far. You find some people who say that I don't need to offer my qadha prayers because Allah is Rahman and Rahim. It's not the Mawlana who will judge me in my qabr. It is Allah who is Rahman and Rahim. So if I have to leave my prayer, I'll leave my prayer. If I want to leave my house without observing the hijab, I don't need to be too concerned because Allah is Rahman and Rahim. If I sit down with mu'mineen and I'm doing ghibah, I am backbiting my Muslim brother or sister, I don't need to be too concerned because Allah is Rahman and Rahim. So some people have this notion that because He is so Rahman and Rahim, I can get away with literally anything because He is the most merciful and compassionate. We are in the holy month of Allah, the month of Ramadan. In this month, we are told by Imam Zamana Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Sharif that it is recommended to recite dua iftatah through this month. And there's a beautiful line in this dua, and it reminds us when we say Annaka anta arhamur rahimin fi mawdi'il afwi wa rahma, that indeed you are the most merciful in which place? At the time of forgiveness and mercy. But in that same dua we also say, what do we say? We say wa ashaddul mu'aqibin, that indeed Allah is very exact in His punishment as well. So we can't have it both ways. Yes, He is Rahman and Rahim, but at the same time He is very careful and exact when it comes to punishment for those people who break the laws of obedience. Salatu Muhammad. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. The Messenger of Allah was sent to this earth as a mercy to the whole of mankind. So the question is, how do we return the mercy of Rasul Akram sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? How do we return the mercy? by killing innocent people, by detonating explosives in a place of worship, by spreading hate and intolerance. Is this how we return the rahmah that was sent to the whole of mankind? But Allah has explained to us, how do we return the rahmah of His beloved Prophet? He says, "An-nabiyyu awla bil mu'minina min anfusihim." That we must understand that the Prophet of Islam, may the peace and blessings be upon him, has a greater right on us. On what? On our lives, on our children, on our wealth. The Messenger of Islam has a greater right on all of these things than we have. So this is how we return. We need to first of all understand this. And there is one person in Islam who understood this point perfectly. Let me take you to a house in the city of Mecca. This house was a special house. The north facing side of this house faced the house of Allah. The south side of this house was open, the doors were open to the orphans, to the poor, to the widows, because religion of Islam is a religion of giving to others, serving others. This is a majlis of a marhum who spent and dedicated his life, despite having, I believe, a bypass operation, he still continued to serve this community. The doors of this house were open to the orphans, to the poor, to the destitute. Take what you have to take. If it's food, take food. If it's clothes, take clothes. In this house there is a lady, she sat on the floor, and with her hands she's feeding the orphan child, and she says, "My dear child, don't ever feel that you are an orphan. From now on, I consider me as your mother." Who am I talking about? No other than Lady Khadijah al-Qubrra. Salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Lady Khadijah, we are told, gave her wealth, her earnings, to the poor, to the widow, to the orphans. And she even, in this day and age, even the most wealthiest, they're never concerned about others. But this lady was concerned about the poor girls who couldn't get married. And she would finance their marriages. Can you imagine? This is Lady Khadijah al-Qubrra. Abdullah ibn Abbas, he narrates this tradition. He says, one day we were with Rasulullah, may the peace and blessings be upon him, when he stops and he draws 4 lines in the ground. He turns to the companions and says, do you understand, do you know what these 4 lines that I've drawn in the ground represent? Do you know what they represent? Respectfully we said, Ya Rasulullah, you know better than us. And then he explains, these lines represent the greatest women that have walked on this universe. This line is Khadijah al-Qubrra, Khadijah bint Khuwaylid. This one is Fatima bint Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is Maryam. This is Maryam bint Imran. And this is Asiya bint Mazahim. Who is Asiya? The wife of Pharaoh. She had a special distinction. She was the only person, we are told at that time, this special distinction that Lady Khadijah al-Qubrra had. She was the only person that we are told that was greeted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Jibreel alayhi salam. Can you imagine? Greeted Khadijah with salams from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our perception of Islam is far from the perception of Islam that was presented by Khadijah al-Qubrra. We need to understand that point. If we can understand the seerah of Khadijah al-Qubrra, we would become the Muslims that people will turn to, Muslims that people who have no faith will become believers in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we want to become Muslims, then we need to learn from the life of Khadijah al-Qubrra salawatullah. We are told that we should only mourn for 3 days if somebody passes away. No more than 3 days if somebody passes away in your family. We have the Shahadat programs in the year. We may mourn for 3, 4 days, 5 days, 10 days, hold the Ashra. We may also mourn for 40 days. Is that right? 40 days. Even the most critical historians had to write, and they could not deny the fact that when Lady Khadijah alayhi salam passed away, Rasul Azam declared that year, the whole year, as Amul Huzn, as the year of Azar. We just give 1 day to Khadijah al-Qubrra, 15 minutes. And Rasul Akram gave an entire year to this lady. In my study, I came across a tradition which mentioned that one day, years after Khadijah al-Qubrra passed away, Rasul Akram came across a necklace that she used to wear. And he began to cry and mourn and remember his wife. This is how much love Allah had placed in the heart of Rasul for his wife. It is mentioned that once he said that I love my wife Khadijah so much. You know the reason why? Because there was a time when people would call me names, would throw rubbish at me, would pelt me with stones, would throw all sorts of things at me, would lay stones in my path so that my feet would be injured. They would call me a liar, they would call me a magician. In that time there was only one person who stood by me, and that was my wife Khadijah al-Qubrra. Khadijah al-Qubrra. Who can understand and fathom the greatness of this lady? Who can? We are told in the traditions that she spent 3 years, can you imagine 3 years, in the valley of Abu Talib. In the valley of Abu Talib. And we are also told that it is because of those 3 years of suffering, the suffering of heat, the suffering of thirst and hunger, which caused her passing. So should we call this passing a wafat, or should we call this passing a shahadat? It's a question that we need to ask. The ulama tell us that when she left her house in Mecca to go to the valley of Abu Talib, she walked. But when she returned, she had to be carried because her body had become so frail and so weak from the suffering that she had to endure in the 3 years. We are told that Lady Khadijah al-Qubrra was very fortunate. She was given the cloak of Rasulullah and placed in her lahad. Did the zulm stop there is my question. The zulm, my dear brothers and sisters, did not stop there. As we are told that when Rasulullah left this world, only days after the passing of Rasulullah, the Muslims had piled up firewood outside the daughter of Khadijah al-Qubrra, and they threatened to set fire to it. When she called behind the door, she said, "Oh Muslims, do you not realize that I live in this house with my children?" But they never stopped. They set fire to the house of Lady Fatima al-Zahra. It is mentioned that as the door was burning, when the enemy kicked the door, Lady Fatima got trapped between the door and between the wall, and she miscarried. Did the zulm stop there? No, come to Karbala. Come to the day of Ashura, when it is mentioned that not one tent, but all the tents of the early Haram were set on fire. Hamid ibn Muslim narrates that amongst the tents that were burning, a small child emerges running out of the tents. Her dress had caught fire. Who is this small child? I went towards this child to help extinguish the fire, and she calls out, "Oh Sheikh, do not come towards me. I am a Sayyid Zadi." This was Sakina bint al-Hussein. She runs out of the tent in a panic. She says, "Just tell me one thing. Just tell me one thing. Which is the path that leads to Najaf al-Ashraf? Why do you want to go to Najaf? I want to go to Najaf so that I can pour my heart to my grandfather Ali. That look at how the Muslims treated us, how he treated the daughters of Rasulullah on the day of Ashura." Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We send the reward of this majlis to the soul of Sayyid Zulfikar Naqvi. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase his darajat. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala place him amongst the A'la Illiyin. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive with our eyes which are tearful at this moment. May Allah forgive all of our sins. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on all of our marhumeen. Al-Fatiha.